Only LGBTQ plus daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news. It is 8 p.m. Monday, June 7th, and we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show. Out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Hi, thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, you will see it. Queer News Tonight is supported by viewers like you. We are part of the Happening Out television network, Hotspots Magazine, and We Meg Events. Hotspots is celebrating 35 years of the LGBTQ plus experience, and We Meg is bringing you Wilton Manors Stonewall Pride Parade and Street Festival on June 19th. Merged, we bring you the best of LGBTQ plus news, entertainment, and support of our LGBTQ plus community.
This evening, we are going to bring you the news of and a perspective representing the LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and across our planet. I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson. Let's welcome anchor FayWhat. She's a radio and television personality and has the popular blog and YouTube channel aiming to unite the L and the G together. She's a hostess and MC for many South Florida events and an animal advocate and owner of Fay's Fur Family. And she is the anchor of the travel news show, Happening Out Travel. Good evening, Fay.
Good evening, everyone. Whew, I'm a busy girl. Wow. Let's welcome anchor Dale Stine, a dear, dear friend of Queer News Tonight and also a dear friend of mine. He has received a master's degree from world-famous Juilliard School. He's a well-known photographer, has been featured in innumerable magazine covers, feature spreads, CD record covers, and websites. Dale is also famous for his photographs for internationally acclaimed DJs, producers, drag personas, politicos, business people, and entertainers. He is currently the director of music ministry at Unity on the Bay. I say that loud and proud. Moderator of South Florida's largest LGBTQ plus Facebook group, Miami-Dade List. Welcome, Dale.
Thank you, Faye. Let's welcome Cindy Brown. She is an icon in the LGBTQ plus community. Her public service work began in 1992 when she helped organize the Miami AIDS Walk and the White Party for Care resource. Her past work includes the United Foundation for AIDS, Miami Light Project, Miami Beach Botanical Garden, and she also served as executive director of the Miami-Dade Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce Foundation, as well as the LGBTQ Visitor Center. She is the founding executive director of Miami Beach Pride. Currently, she is the senior program manager with Jewish Community Services Lambda Living Program for LGBTQ plus seniors. Welcome, Cindy Brown.
Thank you, Dale. What a great introduction. And now let's welcome anchor Orlando Gonzales, my dear friend. He is executive director for SAVE, recognized as South Florida's longest-serving organization dedicated to protecting people who are LGBTQ against discrimination. He also served on the board of trustees of the Point Foundation. Good evening, Orlando.
Good evening, everyone, and we are the reporters for Queer News Tonight. And this evening, we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse, and our community across the world is vast. And here we are with the bullet points and the queer news for today, Monday, June 7th.
Let's begin by queering up Chick-Fil-A. Burger King declares war on anti-LGBTQ plus Chick-fil-A using a chicken sandwich. The chicken sandwich war took a political turn this weekend after renewed calls were made over social media to boycott Chick-fil-A. Burger King took it as an opportunity to show its solidarity with the LGBTQ plus community. Chick-fil-A CEO Dan Cathy was identified last week, and we reported it at Queer News Tonight, as a donor to the National Christian Charitable Foundation, which has a history of funding opposition to the Equality Act. Burger King, which recently launched the Chick-King sandwich, tweeted Thursday it will now donate 40 cents for every chicken sandwich sold in June, Pride Month. up to $250,000 or 625,000 sandwiches to the Human Rights Campaign. It was a clear sign. It wished to draw a clear distinction to the Chick-fil-A chain.
Oh, I got to say a few things about this one. Okay, first of all, Burger King, great job. Kudos to you. How smart of you. Gays, we love chicken. All right? First of all. Second of all, you know, I was one of those people that I had Chick-fil-A and I had their sandwich before I knew how horrible they were to our community, right? And their chicken sandwiches are freaking good.
They are good.
Sucks that they're
But
so
I
good.
have the recipe,
So
I'll share it with you.
So I've been upset about that because I refuse to give that that organization 1 penny of my hard-earned money, right? I have to work with you guys, okay? Seriously. But, so now Burger King comes and makes this chicken sandwich. I had one on the way here. No pickles. I hate pickles. It was delicious.
Wow.
Guys. It really did give it a run for its money.
Excellent.
I know you guys are going to be political in what you say, but I had to talk about the taste of the chicken
Well,
sandwich.
But I don't do fast food at all in general, and I'm also a vegan. So, but I know that Burger King does do. I think they do the Impossible Burger, but I'm not a fan of that one. But if they would do a Burger Queen vegan burger, I would be all over that.
Well, good on Burger King. You know, they are in our backyard. They're based here, so we're really proud of them. But the other thing I would say is that if anybody really wants LGBTQ solidarity, you've got to make a low-calorie chicken sandwich.
Exactly. Yeah, no carbs.
That's right. That's the only way to
We're reading
brew
the
up a
chicken sandwich here.
Right?
This is all about food.
I'm
all about
I'm
our
hungry,
How about the
you
money
know.
that they're donating?
let's get-
How about 40 cents?
Well,
for
I
that
think that's
sandwich?
awesome. You know, I mean, they're actually putting their money
Where they're
Literally.
down to
Where
yeah,
the mouth
they're
is, where the
literally
mouth is.
right where the chicken sandwich hole.
You know, I have two observations on this. First, I think it's brilliant that that they respond with the news that came out last week. This is an indication that a major national brand, Burger King, is paying attention to what's going on in the LGBTQ community. They have been out there in many different ways. They've done many campaigns for a long, long time. So this is not a brand new initiative, although this is kind of declaring war on Chick-fil-A. So I congratulate them for paying attention to it. And how fantastic to draw contrast, compare and contrast in Pride Month to them and Chick-fil-A.
Right.
The dirty little secret among most of the LGBTQ community is we love Chick-fil-A sandwiches. That's the dirty little secret.
Right.
But we just can't do it. We just can't do it. And Chick-fil-A has been saying for more than a year that we don't contribute to anti-LGBTQ causes. And we're over that, and you can move beyond it. And then last week, the dark money was found on the billionaire principal owner of Chick-fil-A donating millions of dollars to defeat the Equality Act. And the reason why he wants to defeat the Equality Act is not because of people of color, it is because of LGBTQ people.
Yeah.
So Burger King turns around and pokes them right back in the eye.
Good for them.
June Pride Month, thank you, Burger King.
Next, let's queer up LGBTQ plus unity in Pride. Wilton Manors Leather Bar Eagle throws a Sunday lesbian tea dance in celebration of Pride. Yes, you heard me right. The Eagle Bar brand nationally is famous for hot, sweaty gay men, leather, bears, and more.
Ooh, I'm getting excited.
So yesterday, the Eagle got the attention of Queer News Tonight when they hosted, in honor of June Pride Month, a traditional tea dance, but not so traditional. This tea dance was for women. The event was hosted by legendary Bernadette and Sandy, and dance music was provided by our own DJ Snack Daddy, aka Bravo Top Chefs and Bubbles and Pearls owner, Chef Josie. The event was designed to demonstrate inclusivity of the South Florida LGBTQ plus community. More than 250 lesbians attended the traditional tea dance that started at 3 p.m. Many at the event remarked that they had never seen so many L's from the community on Wilton Drive, and never before at a club like the Eagle. Everyone at Happening Out Television Network congratulates the organizers and participants to demonstrate a true June Pride Month celebration of diversity.
Well, I just want to know how come I didn't know about it.
You should have
You-
known.
I
You
would have
not
been
going
there.
means your L card has been withdrawn.
Well,
This is exciting. You know, when I read this headline, what it reminded me of, which is my favorite part of every Pride parade, which is starting off a Pride parade with the dykes on bikes.
bikes.
Like, that's what it reminded me of. And I was like, you know, anytime we can celebrate this incredible organization, which was founded in 1976, hey, let's bring out those dykes on bikes again and
Right.
over and over again.
Yeah.
Right.
It was wonderful to see so many women out. I loved it. I had a great time. The lady Snack Daddy was incredible on the ones and twos doing her thing.
Yeah.
But I also loved that there were allies there. There were a bunch of straight
Beautiful.
people that loved us and wanted to party
Beautiful.
with us. There was a bunch of
Very
gay
cool.
boys. Like, it was just really diversity at its
You
best.
had a great gay boy date, I understand.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't take your wife? Your wife didn't go with you?
Oh, she came
Teresa?
too.
I gave
It was
her.
a threesome gay
Oh,
boy.
wow.
Wait,
Menage a trois.
wait, I'm talking about me. I was her gay boy date.
Al came with me, and it was a lot of fun. It really was. And the Eagle is going to do it again August 1st. They're doing it again.
Very
The girls are
good.
coming out again.
Okay,
at
I'll
the
have to
Eagle.
put it in my calendar.
I got my harness ready. I'm wearing my harness the next time. That's it.
Oh, wow. Chaps?
Maybe not far yet.
There was a lot of estrogen in the room. It was kind of breathtaking for me, to be honest with you. I commented to many friends. I was with many Happening Out television anchor friends at the event. The first thing that was noticeable to me is, oh, this is what it's like for the girls at all of our events.
Right.
Because we completely overwhelm girls at
Yeah.
our events. And when I was there, I was completely overwhelmed by the girls. And that was interesting for me to see that and feel that and experience that. And I loved it. Everyone treated me very nicely, which was nice because you kind of wonder, well, maybe I'm intruding, and I didn't get that at all. But the number one thing that I came away with is the Eagle is a brand, and it is a very specific brand. It's masculinity, it's leather, it's dress codes, etc. For them to say in Pride Month, the Eagle Wilton Manors, right in the heart of the Wilton Drive, to say, wait, we're reaching out to the girls and we're going to do a traditional tea dance starting on a Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Man, it just says volumes about that bar to say, wait, this doesn't have to harm our brand image, and we can represent inclusivity for our entire LGBTQ community. That's what was so significant. This wasn't in any gay bar. This was in the
Yeah.
Eagle.
Yeah.
Awesome. It really was awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, now we queer up entertainment. Victor and Benji can't keep it in their pants in a new Love Victor clip. The new trailer for season 2 of Love Victor is exciting, and Victor and Benji are still clearly in the honeymoon phase of their relationship in the brand new clip. We only get a 40-second taste of the new season, but it's immediately clear the couple can't keep their hands off each other. The official synopsis reads, quote, Victor faces a family struggling with his revelation, a heartbroken ex-girlfriend named Mia, and the difficulties of being an openly gay star athlete, all while navigating the excitement of his relationship with Benji, unquote. Queer News Tonight is happy to bring you the latest from Love Victor. Now watch this.
Oh, Sarah, you know I have cameras all over this place. Just kidding. Or am I? Okay.
Benji, your mom made a lemon icebox pie.
Be right down.
You're using Nana's throw. Benji's grandmother made that for him right before she died.
Really, it's soft. Victor, how are your hands on my face and my butt at the same time?
Benji, I didn't realize that was you.
Well, I am super excited about the next season because I loved the first season. I love the film also that first sparked this series.
Love Simon.
The characters are just charming and endearing, and maybe I feel like an old geezer watching it, but it's also really wonderful to see kids in high school being so expressive of their sexuality.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I
love that.
I wonder, I've never seen the show, but from the clip, I think it's fabulous, especially for young folks. And I wonder for those of us who are a little bit older.
Why are you
how-
looking at me, Cindy?
I'm not. I'm actually looking at. I'm looking in the mirror too. What life, how different life would be if when we were growing up,
Bullseye.
we had these kinds of
Images.
images validating who we were. I mean, for so long,
Encouraging
I
it.
knew there was something wrong with me. I just had no idea what it was.
There was nothing wrong
That
with
was-
you.
Right, but,
First of all.
I knew there was something different,
Yeah.
about me.
Right.
And this is fantastic. You know, I think it's wonderful. And
super cute.
Yeah.
And super cute.
Yeah.
They're adorable, both of them, and they can't keep their hands off each other.
That's right. It reminds us of what it's like to be that young and have that stamina, right? It's
Oh,
like
wow,
unbelievable.
yeah.
When I read the news clip, and one of the descriptions that they use is they called it a dramedy. And I was like, okay, I have to wrap my brain around, like, what's a dramedy? It's either going to be funny or it's going to be drama. Which is going to be, but I guess we're going to have it both ways.
both,
Right.
So we'll take it.
Yeah, when I watched this clip, I watched every episode of the first season. I'm very excited on June 11th when season 2 launches. I agree with you. I loved Love, Simon. So it was a beautiful story. First off, the girls shouldn't be too jealous because you got the L word coming. The L word is coming.
Okay.
And that's exciting. What's really awesome about this is the effect that it has on so many people. We constantly at Queer News Tonight talk about how representation matters. No matter how steamy implied they do in this comedy drama, it says to everybody watching, this is completely A-okay. If it was a boy and a girl, you wouldn't think twice about it.
That's
right.
We're putting this in front of you and saying, wait, it's still perfectly okay.
That's right.
Right.
And the more images like this that we have in front of us, the better off it is for our entire society. I love
Absolutely.
it. Absolutely love it.
Well, now let's queer up politics. People can't believe the RNC chair had the audacity to tweet about Pride Month. Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel tweeted her support for Pride Month and faced immediate backlash. Given the slew of anti-LGBTQ legislation pushed by the GOP, McDaniel wrote that the Republican Party was proud to have doubled our LGBTQ support over the last 4 years. McDaniel's post sharply contradicted Republican-led anti-LGBTQ measures and jarred many. Chasten Buttigieg, the husband of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, called out McDaniel. He tweeted, quote, "Revisit your party's platform before you open your mouth about pride."
And that's the
Hashtag.
mic drop.
Yes.
What was she, come on, like, what was she thinking?
Well,
Like,
you know,
are
they
serious?
doubled from, what is it? 0 times 0. What actually-
Double zero, that's
Doubling
right.
0,
That's right.
you know?
That's right. Well, this is the party of hypocrisy, right? They say one
Absolutely.
thing and then they do another. And so we know what we're talking about here. And that you're absolutely right. What do you do when you multiply 0? It's nothing.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's the land of doublespeak. Yeah.
And, you know, I don't understand log cabin Republicans and
Or Richard
how,
Grinnell.
Yeah, I mean,
Hashtag walk away.
right.
Or Caitlyn Jenner. Or, wait, I've
can
got to
go on.
stop.
We can go on.
Yeah.
And many of friends that we know or people who
Absolutely.
used to be friends.
Right.
Because it's just, it boggles the mind. It really boggles the mind that people can't even see the irony, just the pure irony of what they're
Right.
doing and by posting that tweet.
Yeah.
You know, we're in a situation where actually we say doubling the 0 is still 0. Actually, we've reported at Queer News Tonight, they did have substantial gains
Yes,
in the
they
November
did.
election compared to 2016, compared to 2012. So they did have substantial gains. One of the things that Rona's tweet does is they're following a playbook. And the playbook that they're putting out there is if we tell it to you enough, a percentage of people will begin to believe it.
Yeah.
And that's how they peel away just enough support to put themselves back in power.
The RNC are and the whole Republican Party are experts at, you know, the bullshit that we hear all the time.
Indy, wow.
Maybe I'm not supposed to say that on the news, but
Bleep.
but it is what it is,
Yeah.
right? So next up, let's queer up South Florida. Miami-Dade County celebrates Pride Month with Diplomats for Equality. On Friday, officials of Miami-Dade County kicked off celebrations of June Pride Month with an art installation of History Miami Museum's Love is Love exhibit. The celebration included representations from all law enforcement organizations in the county. The event was sponsored by the Mayor's Office, the County Commission, and the Miami-Dade County LGBTQ Advisory Board, an official government board of the county. The moving presentation drew more than 300 to the event to mark June Pride Month and the launch of Love is Love exhibit that will show at the Art History at the History Miami Museum throughout the summer. Happening Out television network anchors including Athena Dion, Schaefer Zarrett, Camille Lewis, FayWhat, and Tony Lima all spoke about the importance of June Pride. Of special note was the international participation by senior diplomats from many nations, including the UK British Consul General Nicolette Brent and Consul General of France Laurent Galliassat. Many other nations, senior diplomats including Israel, Mexico, the Netherlands, and more were in attendance, and key addresses were made by LGBTQ Advisory Board members, Director Gabriel Paez, and a somber, challenging address from Chairwoman Ayana and Jenny Gonzales, and the balance of celebration of Pride with all the challenges the LGBTQ community still faces. Gonzales is a historic first as being the first transgender person of leadership of a county government organization.
Well, I was a part of this event. I was so humbled and blessed to be asked by Gabriel Paez to represent the L, and I didn't take that role lightly by any means. And when I was writing my speech, I was thinking about the L and thinking about the L, and all of a sudden it came to me that I had no business going up there and talking about the L. I was going to go up there and talk about my trans brothers and sisters, you know, and it just came out like vomit. But I mean, it was like, it was so like, it was
better than that.
It was much better than vomit, but it was amazing. It was amazing to be in that room. And I know that we have an iffy relationship with law enforcement right now, but I thought it was beautiful that they were there and they were representing. It touched my heart to have so many LGBTQ plus law enforcement people come up to me after the event and say thank you, and that they support us every step of the way. It was beautiful. It really was. I love to share the stage with Athena Dion and Camille Lewis and of course Tony Lima. It was wonderful. It really was.
I heard all positive comments. People really said that it was moving, that it was touching, that it sort of hit the right tone of celebrating our pride at the same time as sort of like reflecting and looking back at the struggles that we've had, the progress we need to make, and what are the priorities, right? And you said it, it's our transgender siblings.
I just want to, you know, come from the other end. I heard that there was a lot of backlash because of the involvement of the police officers. And I think it's important to acknowledge that there are those in our community who have historically been brutalized by the police and are very uncomfortable with the police being involved. And I just wanted to put that out there because many of our viewers may feel that way.
It's the truth.
I need to acknowledge that.
Thanks,
So, yeah.
You know, I attended the event, and it was very exciting. Faye was absolutely outstanding. Schaefer did the Pledge of Allegiance, which I thought was old-fashioned and charming. Tony Lima did an outstanding job. Camille Lewis, who is a host on Translation, the new trans talk show, was outstanding in this fabulous rainbow dress, which was amazing, and it was completely perfect for Miami-Dade County. I sit here in Broward County and think we're the center of the LGBT universe. It was nice to go to Miami-Dade County and go downtown and see the diversity. I congratulate the LGBTQ Miami-Dade Council. They did an excellent job in organizing it. One of the things that was, I guess, the two notes to me that were really symbolically important is first, all of the consulate generals that attended. I believe 9 or 10 different countries, top consulate representatives were there. The consulate general from the United Kingdom spoke, the consulate general for France spoke, talking about how important LGBTQ rights and the Pride Month was, and how important Miami-Dade County was in that process. And the international component of this event I thought was fantastic. And then the second thing that I remind everybody, go to History Miami Museum. The LGBTQ Advisory Board has this exhibit all through the summer about the LGBTQ community and why it's important, our challenges that we face. Ayana, the chairman of the board, was the single somber presentation, and it was the last presentation, because after all of the celebrating, Faye got up and did a fantastic job in her voice in cheering the LGBTQ community, and everyone else did that. And Ayanna finished by saying, you know, in Pride Month, we have done a fantastic job of where we are in June 2021, but are we finished? Absolutely not. And she brought a really somber, important note of why you should come to History Miami Museum and see the challenges that our community still faces, and also the challenges that are in front of us. We have not reached the finish line yet. And that's why I was so proud to participate on Friday. And you did an outstanding job, by the way. Well, now we're going to queer up the road to Stonewall. An enormous rainbow mural graced the National Building Museum lawn during Pride Month. The wide lawn at the National Building Museum in Washington, D.C. has taken on a riot of rainbow hues in a geometric mural designed by artist Lisa Marie Tallhammer. The installation, titled Equilateral Network, was designed to create spaces for social distancing with its triangular grid. Unpainted sections of the lawn provide walking paths, and equilateral triangles lined in pink define spaces for people to sit, separated by 6 feet of distance. Tallhammer designed the work in the fall of 2020 when social distancing was a pressing concern. Its opening now coincides with Pride Month, creating a colorful new space for gathering in the newly reopened capital city.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I think it's so gorgeous, and it's someplace that people can walk and people will experiencing
we're
it.
showing
and,
the picture right there.
It's very zen. It's very
really
zen.
nice.
Zen meets Pride.
Yeah, and to you know, have it uncovered for Pride Month or finished for Pride Month is great.
And I love the name of it, Equilateral Network. Like,
Yes.
how perfect is that? It kind of encompasses so much in just that. And the artist is a phenomenal artist, and it took her forever to complete this. But it's just amazing how they had wanted to do it for COVID, for the pandemic, 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart. And then they were like, well, should we change something? No, it's perfect exactly
Right.
how it
Yeah.
is,
Right.
just like each and every member of the LGBTQ plus community.
Right.
You know, it's not lost on me that this beautiful exhibit is in our capital city, right? When we think about where we are, when we think about all the 50 states and the different sort of levels of acceptance that we have, our capital city sort of leads the way in demonstrating that there's inclusion of us and that we matter in a big way. And if you're ever in DC during Pride Month, I mean, that is one of the gayest cities in America. And so it's a wonderful place to be. It's a definite representation of how included we are and how much we're welcome. And so I love that it's in DC. It's just wonderful.
Right.
Well, if you've ever done the marches on Washington have been
Yeah.
amazing.
Right.
Breathtaking. Absolutely.
So next,
Well, one thing that I was going to say that I love about the image, sorry to production, I threw them off there, but one thing that I want to point out is one of the things that I love about this exhibit is once upon a time we flew a flag, and whether it's the traditional rainbow flag or progressive flag, we're seeing a growing trend to have symbols on our streets or in our parks. And this is a relatively new trend, and I really hope we continue to encourage it. Our crosswalks, to have places where we permanently celebrate our rainbow colors different than what we do in our pride flags.
Right.
like the Rainbow Bridge in Wilton Manors.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's so
exactly.
perfect. Next, let's queer up the USA. The Pentagon is keeping its ban on the pride flag and other flag at installations. The Pentagon confirmed Friday it will not allow rainbow pride flags to fly at military facilities in celebration of Pride Month. That fell in line with the Pentagon's 2020 decision to permit only certain flags at Department of Defense installations. Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby told reporters the DoD chose not to make an exception to the existing flag policy after careful consideration. Along with the American flag, the current policy implemented under the Trump administration authorizes flags representing states and U.S. territories, military services, prisoners of war and missing in action, national flags of U.S. allies, and a handful of others. There has not been a comment from the White House.
Well, you know, my understanding is it came up that if they allowed the rainbow flag, then they would get pushback on the ban of the Confederate flag. And I would say that since it's not a singled out rainbow flag, I I rather support
okay.
it.
I get it.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's
you
not
know.
all about our flag.
Exactly.
Well, and I
Right.
love that they promptly sent out a statement saying that we respect everything that you're going through. We're allies. We're here for you. It has nothing to do with our not supporting of your community.
Right.
They were very quick to put a statement out. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not so mad about it.
Right.
Right.
And it is in contrast with the State Department, right? Our embassies throughout the globe are flying the rainbow flag, and they are demonstrating that. So it's interesting to see that within government that there are differences, right? Here's the Pentagon, but then the State Department and its embassies are doing something different. So, everybody will have their own policies, right?
You know, it's interesting to me of how important it is that we look at our news and our headlines in the world and examine them in a three-dimensional way, not a two-dimensional way, not in a Trump-like way, three-dimensional. Because the intent of decision-making is as important as the decision.
Right.
Who thinks that the Pentagon is being anti-LGBTQ here?
No.
They are not.
Well, if they just read the headline and not the story,
Right,
that's
would
the
be lost.
challenge.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And their situation is making a choice in terms of the military installations. I think I think Orlando's point about the State Department is completely clear. The Pentagon since January 20th has made dramatic statements, as the White House has, in terms of trans issues, in terms of LGBT issues, in terms of medical treatment issues in the military, and especially this month, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, led by all of the service branches, led by the Joint Chief in the Pentagon, will have a pride ceremony inside the Pentagon.
Right.
It is not a question that we're not getting support
Right.
or embracement, but we have to be three-dimensional to get there. And it's interesting to me that the quickest to criticize was LGBTQ on this decision. But we've got to read more into the story
Right.
to
Right.
get the facts
Exactly.
of what's really going on.
Yeah.
Well, great segue. Next up, let's queer up the USA. New rankings show that the top states for LGBTQ plus inclusivity out Leadership, a global LGBTQ plus business advisory that helps companies advance LGBTQ plus equality, has released its third annual state LGBTQ plus business climate index for 2021, ranking states based on how inclusive and protective they are of members of the community. New York State achieved the top ranking this year, dethroning Massachusetts, which lost points in the hate crimes protections and HIV criminalization categories, while South Carolina ranked last. Massachusetts, Maine, and Vermont were in the top 5, while Arkansas, Louisiana, South Dakota, and Tennessee rounded out the bottom of the list.
Interesting. And Florida, just because that's where we are at, ranked 28th. And it did gain a couple of points, but only because the Florida Commission on Human Rights is now accepting complaints of discrimination for anybody who's been discriminated because they are because of sexual orientation and gender identity. So that's the only way Florida made a couple of gains. We still need to pass a statewide non-discrimination law.
Was anybody surprised about the bottom states, Arkansas, Tennessee?
Not at all.
South Carolina.
South Carolina,
Yeah.
of
No
course.
surprise.
Well, you see,
Louisiana.
it all tripped me up.
Yeah, you know, we're in a situation where there is a separation going on in America for LGBTQ rights. We see this in the southern states that are passing all of these terrible anti-LGBTQ laws, especially against trans. This reporting shows that the Northeast does the best in the country. You notice California is not there, Oregon or Washington is not there, which means, and they do a pretty good job, but in terms of top 5, it's all in the Northeast in terms of their thinking process. And the South is the worst. And there were other southern states that were in the top 15 that were in the worst. The one thing that I thought about in terms of Massachusetts versus New York, you know, you have this Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees rivalry. Now we have it in LGBTQ. I came across somebody just last week visiting a straight couple from New York City that were visiting Fort Lauderdale, and we struck up a conversation, and they were talking about how wonderful their visit was, and we started talking about New York and how every LGBTQ person, but especially gay men, are just dying to come back to New York. And this survey gives us just one more reason. I can't wait to go back to New York and New York City.
Well, it definitely came down here during COVID, right?
Yes.
Right.
So now we queer up the world. LGBTQ campaigners demand equality in Japan. Rights activists have accused ruling lawmakers in Japan of violating the Olympic spirit with homophobic remarks that included saying same-sex relationships, quote, resist the preservation of the species, end quote. The comments made during the discussion on a new anti-discrimination bill have sparked a backlash as Japan prepares to host the virus-postponed games in 2 months' time. Broadcaster TBS and other Japanese media also quoted an unnamed lawmaker as saying that LGBTQ sexualities, quote, can't be accepted in a moral way, end quote. Pride House Tokyo criticized the remarks in a joint statement Saturday with US-based campaign group Athlete Ally. The Olympic Charter states that, quote, every individual must have the possibility of practicing sport without discrimination of any kind, end quote.
Well, I see some discrimination there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let's start
I've
there.
always thought of like the Olympics as being like so gay. First of all, the rings are a rainbow, right? Number one,
Right.
And number two, I always laugh whenever there's an Olympic activity. Every app, Scruff, Grindr, etc., just blows up in the host city. So, the athletes themselves definitely come from our community. So, Japan's got to be careful, otherwise they're going to have no games.
Oh, yeah.
So in Pride House they had like an area there in the Pride Village. I mean, in the Olympic Village for
Yes.
the athletes.
Yes,
so
and
they're
celebrates.
a part of
Yeah.
the whole
Absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely, that's right.
And allowed out loud, basically.
Well, and now they're getting louder, I see. I mean,
yeah.
and they deserve to.
Yeah, I mean, it always is these people in places of authority who make comments knowing nothing about what they're talking about, and then setting off this huge international issue.
Right.
Because, the Olympic Committee has its rule set, there's the Pride House. It's going to be in the Olympic Village.
Right.
What is this person even saying anything for?
It's an interesting situation. Japan's having a tough 2021. Couple of reasons. This is an illustration. Japan is the most industrialized. They're one of the 5 most industrialized democratic nations on this planet. But they fall behind in many, many ways. And one of the ways that they do is their social issues toward LGBTQ.
Right.
Frankly, Japan has done a very poor job in their embracement of the LGBTQ community. And this is a call out. If the Olympics continue, and it looks like the Olympics are going to continue, it's one of the things that will help propel the international visitors saying, the athletes, don't discriminate, and it'll push equality actions in their government. The second is the exact kind of slow embracement of what's going on in COVID. Japan is one of the worst nations, openly industrialized democratic nations in the world in terms of COVID. Last reports, only about 7% of the population is vaccinated.
Oh, no.
Wow.
They have done a terrible job. They're facing this continual lockdown because they just don't move at the speed that they need to move. And I just think it's an interesting comparison of what's going on in pandemic, which is also going on in LGBTQ rights in Japan.
Right.
So that is our queer headlines for today. Let's catch up on the LGBTQ plus news surrounding COVID-19 with our special segment called Quarantine Quickies.
Queer News Tonight has been LGBTQ plus America's most important news source on the pandemic, as we have reported on coronavirus on every news broadcast since January 6th of 2020.
Tonight, we report
The devastating
Yes,
effect the
thank you.
coronavirus has had on the American and worldwide LGBTQ plus community in total cases and deaths.
But we also provide hope of a new light at the end of this long tunnel. As of tonight, more than 2,394,000 LGBTQ Americans have contracted COVID-19.
We have watched the greatest single year LGBTQ plus health crisis of our lifetimes. More than 42,000 LGBTQ plus Americans have died from coronavirus.
But the news is improving because as of today, more than 301 million vaccination doses have been administered in the United States.
Now the question is the number of what the CDC calls breakthrough cases. This means after you're fully vaccinated, how many continue to contract COVID-19? As of June 1st, 2021, more than 135 million people in the United States has been fully vaccinated.
Next, the CDC is monitoring serious infections that cause hospitalizations after being fully vaccinated. Again, the results are incredible, with only 2,854 hospitalized in America.
Finally, the most important number is how many COVID-19 deaths for those that are fully vaccinated. CDC reports as of June 1st, only 535 Americans have died of COVID-19. This makes the coronavirus vaccine one of the most impressive medical achievements in our lifetime.
That's our COVID-19 news for tonight. Next, we report that Happening Out Television Network is passionate about our support for the LGBTQ+ community.
An example is Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We're broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine in supporting that partnership.
The network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ+ religious broadcast in the world, with more than 30,000 watching every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and it's totally live.
We encourage you to tune in. Our campaign of sponsorship proudly supports Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church. Now watch this.
Hi, I'm Victor Diaz-Herman, Chief Executive Officer of Pridelines, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
Finally, we thank Queer News Tonight's hotel sponsor, Best Western I-95 Fort Lauderdale. This is the closest and best choice to the famous Wilton Drive, and our hosts and guests stay at this LGBTQ+ ally partner. We encourage you to stay here when visiting South Florida.
So that's it. That's today's news for the LGBTQ+ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ+ evening news show. Is our community important to you?
Then help us by liking and subscribing. Ring the bell for updates. Share the news with your friends and your family.
Post this broadcast in the many groups you're a member of. Tonight's stories about our community deserve the attention of your friends and family.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ+ digital television news in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these LGBTQ+ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and on behalf of these LGBTQ+ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including FayWhat, Dale Stine, Cindy Brown, and Orlando Gonzales. We will see you daily, and that means tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.